Welcome back, guys. It's March of 2018 and today's topic is overseeding. I'm going to use a Kentucky Bluegrass seed. It looks like last year these guys suffered some herbicide damage throughout their front yard. They've never really been 100% satisfied with the front yard because it's got a combination of tall fescue, fine fescue, and some ryegrass. So I'm going to do my best to push it out with some bluegrass. But today I kind of want to show you how I like to do my overseeding and hopefully give you some a few tips.
So part of the overseed process, I want to make sure that I understand how much area that I'm dealing with. I've gotten to the point where I can eyeball things pretty well because I do this every single day. But for you as a homeowner, there is a little bit of a cheat on the internet. It's the mapping software through Google. So if you go to google.com and then click on the map section or google.com/maps, type in your address in this upper left-hand corner here, you can find your property. Now, once you do that, if you choose to right click, you'll get this option called measure distance. And it will put in these little points of reference every time you left click on it. And it will measure the surface area for you. Now, a couple of reasons why I like to do this. Number one, according to the product label, it wants us to put down anywhere between 3 and 5 pounds of grass seed per 1,000 square feet. Now, I close this loop, and down here at the bottom, it shows me that I'm dealing with 1,400 square feet. Now, let's just round that number up to 1,500 to make the math simple. At 1,500 square feet, if I'm going to put this down really heavy at 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet, I'm going to need 7.5 pounds of grass seed. So I like to do a measurement on Google Maps, and then I like to cross-reference it with Bing. Bing.com, they have the same map or a similar mapping software, but it's driven by a different engine. And I find somewhere between the two averages, you're getting a good distance. Now, I had this total surface area when I was at the property, just eyeballing it. I figured this section was somewhere around 1,500 square feet, and I had this one measured out at about, 1,200 square feet. And so that's how I came to my conclusion. So for this project, we chose Kentucky Bluegrass because it's got really tight rhizomes, which just basically means that when it grows, the stalks grow really tightly together. Now this does a couple of things for us. It feels really good on the feet, but it also helps push some of the less desirable grasses and weeds out. At this point, we know our surface area is around 2,700 square feet, but we've got to figure out how much grass seed we actually need. The label says between 3 and 5 pounds, so I'm going to measure out to see what a pound of grass seed looks like. So we know that we put it down at 3 to 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and start this scale. We're going to zero it out. And let's see here, get that to 0. And I'm just using a measuring cup to keep this simple. So we've got 1 cup, we've got 2. Let's see, this makes number 3 and 4, 5, and it looks like we're going to need about, I'd say, half or less. So there we go. So we know we need about 5.5 cups per pound. So we're going to have to do a little bit of math here. 5.5 cups per pound. 1 pound of grass seed, it's a lot. I mean, 5.5 cups, you multiply this by 5 if you're going to go with that high rate per 1,000 square feet, and you're at 27.5 cups to get to 5 pounds per 1,000. Okay guys, our next step is to prepare the seed for germination. This is an optional step because if you do spend a little bit extra money, you're already going to have a seed that is prepped for germination, which it basically just means it's going to hold the water a little bit better and it's going to germinate faster. I like to prep the soil first, so I use a product called Liquid Launch. I put
this product in a backpack. I spray it over the grass first. I put the seed down. After I put the seed down, I'm gonna spray it again over the top. I could go into the science behind liquid launch, but at the end of the day, it's liquid poop, and it just provides enough natural fertilizer to get the seed stimulated to germinate faster. Again, this is an option. It's not required. A cheaper way of doing it, if you guys are just doing a one-time overseed, is buy yourself a bag of like 15-15-15 fertilizer. I'll put a product link in the description so you can see what I recommend, but a Scott's bag of starter fertilizer is just fine. You want to be careful because if you over-apply it, you're going to burn the seed and cause some problems. So for some of these barrier spots, what I like to do is just make my own patch kit. And it's pretty simple, but it's really important that you get some topsoil and some grass seed. And what I like to do is I like to put it down a little liberally. After I scrape the top, I get all the dead grass out of the way first, of course. But I end up putting down some of this topsoil over the top, and I really don't want to put a lot, about 1/4 of an inch at a time. And this will do a couple of things for us. It's going to help us keep our water tight for these bare spots, but it's also going to keep away birds from eating the seed. You don't really want to go 1/4 of an inch, or I'm sorry, more than 1/4 of an inch, because if you do, the seed may get choked out. And some of the live grass, some of these blades in between here, they're going to get choked out and not grow through it. If you want to get really technical, you could scrape the top 1/4 inch layer off first, then lay some new topsoil down. I like to use this overseed topsoil. It's got a little bit of fertilizer in it for the grass seed, but that's what I recommend on that. The next step is calibrating our handheld spreader. Since the seed is really fine, we want to be very careful and make sure that it's not going to come out too fast. As you can see, the shoot, this is about a little bit too much, and so there's a dial on the side here. We're just going to flip that up to a number 1, see how far that opens. And that should be pretty simple. Now I'm going to do a test pass with the grass seed. So I'm just going to throw in a little bit. And I want to put this down pretty heavy on my overseed because I want it to go down at about 3 to 5 pounds per 1,000 for the application that we're using. And so I open it up, and you can see it's dispersing at a medium rate. Let me get this a little bit closer to see if we can't show you guys on the video how it's coming out. I'd like it a little bit more than that, so I'm going to make a slight adjustment on that and put it between the 1 and the 2, and that should do it. So now that I've got my calibration set, I'm going to go over a series of overlaps. I want to make sure that I have about a 4-foot spread, that I'm coming over 2 feet on both sides. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So our last and final step is ensuring proper watering. There's no science behind it. If you look at the soil and the soil's dry, it's a problem. We want to keep the soil wet. So that may require, in the early spring, watering once a day. And during the summer, you may have to do 6 or 7 2-minute cycles. No real math behind it other than keeping the soil wet. Well, there you have it, guys. It's March of 2018, the beginning of the season, and what a better way to start off than a lawn overseed. If you have any questions or concerns, hit me up in the comments. Love to help you out. We did use about 3 to 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet on this as part of our calibration. But again, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next round. Bye.